Welcome everybody, Nina Press here from dancetoday.fun doing another Wedding Connections interview with the fabulous Gary Spencer Smith from Fish and Duck Resort. I'm so excited to do this interview because this resort is nothing like I've ever interviewed before. You are going to hear amazing stories. This is a unique resort and I can't wait to delve in and share all about it. Welcome, Gary.
Hi, Nina. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this and, letting people who are looking at taking the next big step in life, which I actually just did last January. I just had my first year anniversary. So hopefully we've got something here that we can talk about that might be of interest and help them in their wedding planning.
Well, congratulations. I did see some beautiful photos and you are very, very lucky. So tell me a little bit about the story. How did you start this resort? How did you start this whole business and helping wedding couples have an amazing wedding venue, photos and everything? Tell me a little bit of the beginning.
Way back when, back in the last millennia in 1993, I came across to Canada. I had a holiday here on Sproat Lake. And I remember thinking, wow, what a beautiful place. And then went back to England, served in the military for 11 years, emigrated over, worked, built up a real estate portfolio. And then this was my local. I was living on the lake and it came up for sale. I did some math and I was like, wow, what a fun business, to get to live and work at the lake. And the old owner, he typically said, you have certain groups of people. You've got the newlyweds, bachelor, bachelorette type groups, and then you've got the families in the holidays. So it kind of tied in with all dressed in white and what they're doing and what we can offer. And since then, we've renovated the pub. We've bought some extra property. So we're looking at potentially becoming a venue, but for now, it's just to do with the houseboats and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so let's delve about this. So the resort is a houseboat on the Sprout Lake,
Correct.
and you provide people to come and do events on the houseboat, but then you also have other services. Tell me a little bit about if somebody books you, what are they booking and what can they do?
So we have a multitude of stuff here. We've got lakefront accommodations. We've got the pub and restaurant where we'll host private events. We have a decent property, with some nice waterfront that if people wanted to do a wedding, smaller type wedding, they could do that. But the most of our business is typically the houseboats. People come with a group of, 15 friends. They go out for 3 days, have the time of their life, create memories that last a lifetime. So we have that. And then on top of that, we have kayaking, paddle boats, anything to do with the lake and marina. We got wake surf experiences, just pretty much lake life is kind of what we offer in a nutshell here. So it's a lot of moving parts, but it's a great environment to work in.
And so tell me a little bit about what is one of the most memorable weddings you've hosted and what made it unique?
Group, they took 7 houseboats and then they went and found their own secluded little beach, just beached up for 3 days. Everyone had their comment and had a 3 day wedding, just themselves. They just found a nice secluded spot on the lake. I mean, the lake is it's such a big lake, spectacular place, but they found their own little spot and just seeing everybody come back and like their faces, the people who, the bride and groom, the families, they were just like, that was the best experience we could have ever done. They went, because a lot of the time, with weddings, you have set venues, certain menus, certain things, whereas they said we loved that it was just free for us to do whatever we wanted, wherever we wanted, and it was so relaxed. So it is a different type of thing when they're doing a wedding, but definitely, and bachelorette parties, that's another thing altogether. 15 of your friends in a space with hot tubs, slides on the roof, and going to find a place and just, you can go and let loose without getting in any trouble because you're just with your friends, you're in your own space. There's not 1,000 houseboats on the lake. We actually only have 10. So you don't have to be amongst the crowd. So especially, some girl groups don't like going out with their bachelorettes and being hassled by 10 guy boats. So they can actually go find their own beach where nobody can even get to them and they can have their own experience. So it's not about having to do it with a group of other people. It's literally your core friends and do exactly what you want. And another fun one I seen was a bachelorette. They did a Jack and Jill party, and the two guys went off and found their own beach, had a night. Girls had the beach for a night. The next day they met up at a different beach and they took names out of a hat, and that was who you had to write the wedding vows for. And they all dressed up as bride and grooms, and then married. And it might be like a guy marrying a guy, or it was just whatever name came out the hat. That's who you had to marry. One had to be the bride. Show me the videos, and it was just such an amazing thing to see. What a bit of fun. It was a way of ribbing each other and then sharing that memory as well. So creating bonds and stuff like that. So yeah, it was awesome.
I feel like I would book these houseboats for other events, not only just wedding couples, but you said bachelorette events, but just even like a weekend away with like friends and just have how many people can fit in each houseboat?
So there's 15 in each houseboat. There's typically 6 double beds, there's a futon, and then there's like like in a trailer, the table drops. But they've got 2 bathrooms, a full-size kitchen, hot tub on the roof, so you
Oh,
can sit and watch the stars. Everyone's got a slide off the back into the water. The water's super warm, like 28 degrees usually in the summer, 27, 28, super clean. Um, and we get lots of groups, not just, that we've mentioned there, but we get families come, groups of friends. We're about 40 to 45% repeat business every year. And some of those are groups of friends that have been doing this one weekend every year for the last, 10, 15 years. So they love it. They're like, yeah, we look forward to this every year. Some groups that used to be the wild groups are now coming back and they've all got young kids. So now the tone has changed on the party, but they just want to be out on the lake for 3 days and experience the magic that Sproat Lake has to offer.
so the resort is all year round?
And typically May long to September long.
May.
But if you want nice warm water, typically you're looking at mid-July to end of September, and then that's when you got the nice, beautiful warm water. And then the 35, because we're actually the hottest place on Vancouver Island too.
It sounds very magical. And tell me a little bit more about the lake.
Well, the lake it's a roughly 140 kilometers around the outside. It's shaped like a Chinese dragon, so 2 wings ahead, big long tail. There is houses on part of the head and part of the wing. Other than that, there is nothing. So you can go right out into the wilderness. It won BC's best lake 2 years ago, so it got voted for. It was a big province-wide competition. We beat out the Shuswap to #1 lake. And honestly, I think the only reason we won that at that time was because we are a slightly different experience. We are it's a warm lake. It's super clean. It's actually the tap water for my house. I don't even have a filter system on it. Just pumped straight in. We've and then I think combining all those elements and then being able to build, there are beaches where if you want to go with 2, 3 houseboats, you can have a party, and we do see it. But you also, if you want to be by yourself, just you, your family. So I think being able to offer those different experiences just makes this lake a little bit magical. The Mars water bombers, which if anyone's heard of those, they used to be based here on the lake before they went to the museums, and you'll see float planes coming in. But if you see 10 boats out in one of the bays, that's a busy day on this lake. So it's one of those untouched things that people haven't really heard of, and there's not much commercial stuff. Like, we're the only place allowed to do houseboats on the whole lake. So it kind of keeps it at that nice core special experience.
Yeah, that sounds so magical. And I tell you, as you're talking, I just can envision all of the different types of things, and I want to like start organizing my next outing. But anniversary parties and just any kinds of parties and any kind of gatherings. Now, if we talk to wedding couples, I always ask this from every vendor. What is some tips that you could give wedding couples when they're planning this type of wedding out in a resort where people are going to go to a location and stay there? I mean, they can probably stay there for a weekend or a week-long right trip, right, as they're doing
Yeah.
their wedding. So this is a little bit more involved. What are some tips so that they can have a stress-free planning?
Stress free. Is that possible when you're booking a wedding?
I don't know. I mean,
I
how do
think
you
it's
help them do
important, and
that?
this is from my own experience. I think it's important that you have the things that you want to value first and foremost, and make sure you hit those points. The rest of the little things are just fluff. So, the people that you want there, the music that you want. And from my own experience, we were like, we want a set type of music because we believe that was the tone of when people leave weddings. Are like, people forget what the food was, the cutlery was, the napkins were, but they'll remember the dancing and they'll remember the beautiful little moments that you share. So I'm like, as long as you just hit those things and focus on those, the rest of the stuff isn't really relevant. We had another group, smaller one as well. They only had 3 houseboats wedding. They got a little island down the lake and 3 houseboats, and they actually were using the kitchens for their caterers that they'd hired to come in. So we taxied the caterers out on a pontoon boat with all our ingredients, and out they went, and they actually had their pro chefs cooking the dinner on the houseboat and then serving it on the beach to everybody. So
Wow. It,
yeah,
it sounds like you guys go
little
above
things
and
like that.
beyond.
But I think the tips would be focus on your 3, 4 core things that you believe are really going to make a difference in your wedding, and don't get stressed over the immaterial stuff. Things happen, things change. Yeah, that's not what you're there for. You're there to share your love with somebody else in front of your best friends and family.
It sounds like you guys go above and beyond to make sure that the couple gets exactly what they want, and they can custom with the way that your venue is so flexible. You have like the beach area, the houseboats. You have like they can go different
I'll just
places.
add to that. I think one of the things that really we get lots of great feedback on is the staff that we have coming in. This isn't me. This is the people that come in here. We recruit from the ski hills, so a lot of them are the Aussies, and they're couples that come down and they want to enjoy the lake too. So they really do go above and beyond, and the staff come back year after year, and it's them that make this place tick and give the experience that the customers have. It's not us sitting in the background here pushing keys.
Yeah, I love the tips that you gave. So just focus on the most memorable things that you want, and people will remember certain things. Like I always say, people will remember your first dance. People will remember like you guys having your wedding ceremony. People will remember the end when you're leaving. Like there's certain times in the wedding that people will remember. Sometimes people don't remember what they ate, you know? So
Yeah,
yes, it's important to have catering, but is it so important to be like on the detail of what the menu is? Nobody was going to remember that, but they will definitely remember your wedding dance, right? They will
yeah.
definitely remember the experience of being on a houseboat, on a beach, or whatever it is. Those things are memorable. And so it's so important to focus on those first. I totally agree with you.
Sorry. And
Yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
that's the difference between here with the experience here, whether you're doing it a bachelor or a wedding and taking the boats and doing, a smaller type gathering. I think it's the uniqueness of what you can offer there. Like you hit on the word there. It's the experience. People will remember the experience. They will remember those key moments like the first dance, like that. I don't even know what was on the menu at our wedding. I couldn't tell you at my own wedding, but I remember getting out on the dance floor and afterwards, like, can we just get everybody up for one picture? We just want to get a group pic. We had the light up dance floor, and then literally took the picture. The sparklers are going off, and then dropped a banger tune, and everybody was already on the dance floor. So they started
Dancing.
dancing, and that just set the tone for the night. So
Totally.
yeah,
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting key about setting the tone for the night because sometimes people forget those transitions. And I get hired to sometimes go from after the wedding dance to get people on the dance floor. We do a little mini dance lesson. Sometimes people have trepidation about getting on the dance floor, or they think everybody's going to be watching me. But the truth is, no. But we do a little dance lesson to help them get comfortable, and then the dance floor is full, and then everybody stays and they dance all through the
yeah,
night. It's these little
yeah.
details that help have an amazing experience. Now, Gary, we met at the All Dressed in White bridal show. And for those of you who haven't heard, you need to go to adiw.ca. We have wedding shows all through the year, and you'll meet vendors like us. I'll have the dance booth, and Gary will be there with all his pictures of the resort and weddings and examples. And the greatest thing about these wedding shows is that you get to ask questions, meet us, and also get deals. I always tell couples, be ready to purchase because you'll have deals that are not available any other day. So same day wedding show deals only. So tell me a little bit about what deals you offer on that day that are not available on your website, they're not available the next day, that are just wedding show specific.
So one of the things we do for the wedding show specific, and this is for people that come up and speak to us, we've got a little QR code you can scan, enter your email, and you can actually win a 2-day houseboat holiday. So it's up to about $4,000 in value. We're going to be offering some exclusive, very low cost. In peak season, it's $97 per person per night is average. That's going to be blown out of the water. So it is in their interest to show up to these events, come and speak to us, ask us what deals we've got. We're always willing to barter and haggle. So yeah, bring it on by, and we'll give you some deals that you can't refuse.
Yeah, I mean, every time I see couples and they're like, oh, we're just looking, I always think, oh my God, big mistake, because all the vendors there want to be booked. And so they will give the best deals. And then later, a lot of people do get booked, and so then there isn't much availability and now the price is higher. So
Yeah.
couples, listen to us. Be ready to purchase, get to meet the people, go through the process of consultation. But the deals that you're going to get at the All Dressed in White bridal show are not going to be available after. So just be ready. Come with that mindset of, I want to meet the person that I want to work with, and I want to make that decision and book them. And then you can figure out all the details later, right?
And that's the same with us. Like we understand that sometimes you might not have all your numbers, especially, getting 15 people together. We've heard it can be like herding cats. So, if someone did want to take advantage of something at the events, they can book. And we are very flexible. If the date doesn't quite work out, you got to move a weekend. As long as it's available, we're happy to move it. No fee, no cost. So we're willing to work with people to make them get what they want to.
Totally, totally. So, Gary, tell people how we can get a hold of you. Instagram, website.
So our website is fishandduckresort.com. That's A-N-D, duckresort.com. Fish and Duck Resort, Instagram, Fish and Duck Resort on YouTube. If you want to see what the houseboat looks like, what the lake's like, we've got some funny videos up on there as well. So we got some stuff on our YouTube channel. Again, Fish and Duck Resort. There's like 5 or 6 videos you can look through, get a good feeling for the lake, the experience. And email admin@fishandduckresort.com if they've got any questions. And all the usual channels, Messenger, Facebook, we're on there.
And we will be at our next wedding, all dressed in white bridal show on Sunday. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Gary, thank you. You have been amazing. I loved hearing all the stories. And I'm going to go to the website right away and see what I can book for my next event that I want to surprise my partner with. So this is fascinating. And just meet us at the wedding show, at the all dressed in white bridal show. Thank you guys. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Bye, Nina.